something animals. Thank you very much, Julian, for contributing $5. And it is time for the One Step from Eden run with Risch. Take it away.
All right. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Risch. I'll be running One Step from Eden today. So, One Step from Eden is a grid-based fighter roguelike game inspired by the Mega Man Battle Network series and Slay the Spire. I'll be running the neutral, Celsy, seedless, normal category today. I want to give a brief introduction to describe how this game works, since it is really fast-paced. I want to just make sure that everyone understands how it will work. So this game, you build a deck of unique spells in order to fight on a 4x8 grid. You'll also select a lot of unique artifacts with passive effects to enhance and customize your playstyle. There are 9 playable characters. We'll be playing as Celsy today, and we will be using the Invade kit. In this kit, there are 4 spells that we only really need to worry about 2 of them for. Crossfire will do a lot of damage on the tile that we are currently standing on, and will spread out in an X-shaped pattern. And we'll also be making use of Zenith, which will deal 150 damage in a small AoE, but the important thing about this is that it's free to use, so we'll be using it a lot in the early parts of the run. We also get a artifact called Cool Shoes, which lets us restore mana whenever we move, so I'll be moving around a lot in order to generate mana to cast my spells. And lastly, this weapon that we have access to is something we always have access to regardless of how we build our deck in a run. So Fair Frozen lets us dash forward through panels and move around on the enemy side of the field for a brief period of time. So we'll be using this to stand on top of enemies and use things like Crossfire and Zenith. This will be a normal mode run. We don't need to worry about any Hell Pass modes, which add additional difficulty for today. And this will be a seedless run, so we will be dependent on RNG. So with that, yes. Yes. Thank you. Stream. Sorry about that. All right, so with that, I'd like to introduce my commentators for today. We'll be starting with Taraj42. Want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Taraj42. Big fan of Battle Network, so Slay the Spire and Slay the Spire. So One Step from Eden is really cool. Excited to be here. Good luck on the run, Risch.
Thank you. I'd also like to introduce Erothaur. Care to speak?
Hello, I am Erothaur. I'll be helping with this run as well.
Erothaur, I think you're...
Sorry?
Erothaur is a professional streamer.
Indeed. I run this game a little bit as well. I'll be helping with commentary.
All right, and lastly, I want to introduce the dev of One Step from Eden. He will be joining us as well. ThomasMoonKang, do you want to say something before we get started?
I'm the developer for One Step from Eden, and I'm super excited to see Risch play this run. So, good luck.
All right, so I think with that, we are ready to get started. So shall I just give a countdown and we can get ready or get started?
How about Thomas give a countdown?
Okay, sure. Thomas, feel free to give me a countdown.
All right.
Start the run.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, Risch. Approaching Arctic. Oh, man, look at my favorite boss all the way right at the start. The boss order is random, and Risch is right off the bat going to get a flawless victory. After each fight, you get a selection of artifacts and spells. There's only one spell we actually want, so I'll be skipping most of those. And immediately he's going to remove one of his spells and set his focus to Double Lift to make it more likely to find Echo, which is the spell that we actually want. Still no spells. The focuses that you can set... Ooh, Mana Ring. Pinwheel. Pinwheel's good. So every time you use all of your spells, you can shuffle them. And Pinwheel's side effect is that whenever you shuffle, it increases your movement speed. And movement is mostly how we're going to be generating mana. So the faster Risch can move, the faster he can generate mana, the faster he can cast spells. For pathing, because you do have a little bit of control over the path that you take, we're mostly just looking for the shock at the start because we're going to buy an upgrade and another remove. increasing our mana regen. And here's the first shop. That's the shopkeeper here. We're just seeing if there's any free packs to take. You can buy as many upgrades as you can afford, only one. Apply Fragile is good. Basically, Crossfire is now doing 50% more damage, and there's some artifacts that pair nicely with Fragile. We weren't able to also afford a removal, so at least for now we're stuck with one extra spell in the deck, because as you can see in the lower left, Risch will always have access to 2 spells, so the quicker we can get down to just 2, the quicker we can always start with Crossfire. This is Violet, my favorite boss. It's got a very unique mechanic where you kind of play this rhythm game, but unfortunately for Violet, Risch is kind of just going to ignore the mechanics and use Crossfire, because it's extremely powerful. And on each boss fight, you have the choice to execute or spare them, and what you do gives you a different ending. We're going to execute them because we're going for neutral, and we're also looking for Echo, and boss fights are the most likely place to get the Echo spell. After you beat a boss, you get a selection of different kind of worlds to go to. Risch picked Ruins. Ruins has Reva and Terra. Both of those bosses are a little bit more difficult, so you want to take them out early, but also when you spare a boss, they'll show up to help you, and Reva has a very useful effect, which hopefully you won't see, but we'll be getting for safety. That enemy had armor, which is why it wasn't taking very much damage. Every time you level up, you get another artifact. There's a few good ones that we could potentially get early on. We haven't seen any particularly good artifacts, mostly just increasing mana regen. Risch helping those hostages out right there. Okay. Terra's coming up as the second boss. One Step from Eden is very fast paced, and so I'm just trying to keep up with everything that's happening. Oh, you did take Jam Cannon. There's a bunch of different... So for the run, we're really only going to be using Crossfire, Zenith, and if we get an Echo. But there's so many other fun and interesting spells that you can get in this game. Like Showdown would be interesting. Terra's the second boss. Her mechanic is that she can crack the tiles, and so you kind of have to dodge. But Invade Celestia being able to jump on the other side of the field, as an alternative to dodging on your side, you can just jump over there. 58 health left. Crossfire is so strong. And since we're still looking for Echo, Risch is going to take another Execute. Ooh, Sarah Cannon is a really good spell. Not for this though. We'll take another, oh, the Mining Rig. So the Mining Rig will give you 5 extra Sarah, that's the money, after every fight. Because we still want to be able to go to the shop and buy a few upgrades.
So to try to talk about the pathing a little bit,
yeah,
that was actually a really good path. The Distress Beacons are very fast because they have a small number of enemies that have usually low health and are in a fixed position. There are 3 different encounters you can get at Distress Beacons, and they're all very fast. 2 of them being single target and 1 of them having 2, which not really a problem, both of our spells are AoE at this point. And then shops are very fast because, well, for when you need them, because we're trying to get good upgrades here. He got Fragile, I believe. Double cast would be the best possible upgrade. It's the highest DPS increase.
Frost Rock.
And then campfires, you normally just skip, but you can take them for safety if you want. And then you get these chest encounters, which give you a bunch of Sarah, and it gives you a reward. And they're also very fast.
Oh, he took Lilac.
Generally speaking, the normal encounters are also okay, but you want to minimize them, and you want to avoid mini bosses and what's the other one?
Use 5 money when you shuffle. That's value for. The packs are free, but they have a negative consequence. Risch upgraded that. Oh, what was that?
That was double cast.
D. I does not get the health back. It was good for a try. Most artifacts are fine. You can take them. You don't really care. But some have negative consequences. Like that one reduces max HP by 300. So this is Reva. She's the shield character. Unfortunately, shield is no match for Crossfire. Geometry, however, is terrifying. And that's one of the main reasons that we take Rev out first. And we will be sparing her.
You can see that we got a very, very large DPS increase once we picked up double cast. The boss order is, I'm not sure if Terrace mentioned it already, but
No.
every zone has 2 different bosses that you can get in it. So we're in fire at the moment, and this can be Gunner or Saffron. The boss order mostly doesn't matter, but Shiso in particular is one of the forest bosses, and he can give you an extra reward screen every time you go to a campfire, and that does slow you down slightly, so we like to leave Shiso for later.
Yeah. And essentially, like, you don't get to pick the boss, but you get to pick the element. So we just save nature for last because it's either Shiso or Hazel, and Hazel's an easy boss in general. So you get ruins out of the way early, ice whenever. Poor Violet. And then fire is pretty neutral. Although Saffron can be kind of scary because Saffron's normally the character you play as at the start, and her specialty is just using a whole bunch of different spells. So the fight's kind of chaotic and a little bit random.
We'll probably also see Risch remove cold medicine soon, since he's got his important upgrades.
So he's gonna get another remove.
It is free though, so it's not like vital that he would remove it. Maybe he won't. It can be nice to have frost sometimes because there are enemies with a lot of armor or other mechanics that frost procs ignore. And fire also ignores those, but don't really have access to fire armor.
Yeah, 2-spell deck. Aren't you excited, Thomas?
Yep, this is the intended way to play the game.
Well, there's a shotgun. So now, every time he shuffles, because you do shuffle in this game, most fights with the random encounters will be taken out in one hit, but he will always have access to both Crossfire with double cast and Zenith. Crossfire is 3, Zenith is free. Took another upgrade. So it's like he can always use both of those, and the positioning and the order doesn't matter as much, because you basically cast them at the same time. Nice geometry.
I smashed the wrong button. Took a spell I didn't want to.
So we've had actually kind of bad artifact luck so far. Some of the really good artifacts. Firstly, Blue Blood is the best artifact in the game for speedrunning. Starts you with full mana every single fight, and that helps you really burst down the random encounters.
Mana regeneration is the limiting factor. Yeah. Being able to start every fight can actually be pretty good. But actually, so this is Gunner. He's probably one of the easiest, and I think if we're going to have an opportunity for donations, now would be the best time, because Risch is just going to blast through the next few stages.
Absolutely. We have $5 from Nameless Inversion saying, Risch, I jacked in specifically to watch your run. Go bust down Eden. And also $50 from Becker, who says, Risch makes the best pancakes.
This is correct. This is correct.
I wouldn't know, he never shares. Alright, this is a boss fight, so you have time for another donation.
You got it. $25 from Alexander Y, saying One Step from Eden is one of my favorite games from this year. Such a joy at 100%.
Poor Gunner.
Maybe now I'll get Echo?
One can hope. Merit
So
badge.
we've heard Echo mentioned a few times. What Echo does is it casts the last card that you cast in battle. So it's essentially a second Crossfire without shuffling. It's actually even a little better than a second Crossfire without shuffling, because you can also upgrade Echo to get double cast. And usually the way double cast works is you cast the spell once, and then there's a short delay before you cast another one. And if you were to get 2 double casts on Crossfire, you don't always have enough time to hit the enemy with every cast. But with Echo, the second cast comes out a lot faster. So you'll get a slight delay before the third and fourth casts, but the first and second are basically on top of one another.
I hope this helps. Explosion.
Why do I keep doing that?
But yeah, and since Echo will cast the other spell with all of the upgrades. So if you have double cast Echo and double cast Crossfire, Echo is like 4 Crossfires for the price of 1.
And Crossfire always hits at least twice, and it does 150 base damage. Hazards are a little spooky sometimes.
Yeah, we are getting into, like, these are the last 2 worlds, so enemies are starting to have enough health that they don't just instantly die. So we're just gonna have to be more mindful of dodging. And here's Hazel. So she's the summoner character, and she'll put down a whole bunch of bombs. Or summon
So it doesn't
gun
look like
turrets
it, but
right
you
there.
can actually step through those rockets and not take damage.
I'm not convinced, but Erothaur is better than I am. Oh, 25. That's it.
Nice.
And we'll go
And
for
he's
the
going to
save
take
here.
the heal here. If you spare a
Yeah.
boss, you get a 400 HP heal, which is really helpful for being safe.
Is that your max HP? What?
You guys missed it. I
We-
took an extra one that reduces my HP even further.
Ah.
But that enemy is particularly annoying sometimes. It takes some fixed damage every time you hit it, but it also generates a lot of armor.
Oh. This is awkward. Did like the wide poison enemy and then the cactus at the top. The cactus is kind of annoying with multi-hit, like even Crossfire, because like every time you hit it, it spawns a projectile. Jam slam. We will not be saying that this round.
Still no mana artifacts, or kind of anything particularly useful in general. I mentioned
Yeah.
Blue Blood, but some other ones are like Empty Bottle gives you 3 mana back every time you kill something. Magnifying Glass would be really good with this Fragile upgrade. It means that the enemies stay fragile.
Life Sword.
Magnifying Glass gives, it makes Fragile do extra damage.
Yeah.
There's also
100%.
Cable, which is kind of like copy damage, which, if anyone's familiar with Battle Network, and for anyone who's not, it marks a target at the start of the fight, and any damage done to anything will also be applied to that target.
Link Cable is also like a really nice graphic. There's a lot of good references and throwbacks. A way to choose between health in the shop here. Another cactus.
This is probably the least threatening but most ominous hazard. You have a very slow-moving rocket. I believe it's
When it
something like
lands-
35 seconds.
There's like 500 damage.
It just does a lot of damage.
Oh, so here's Shiso. He's one of my favorite characters. He's kind of a slower character with high damage, so he's trying to like push you onto the trap and then shoot you point blank. And if he hits you with that attack, it forces you to shuffle. Fortunately for Shiso, it's like we don't care. Oh,
Shiso moves very fast, so one of the downsides to leaving him until later is that he's actually one of the harder bounces for Celsi to deal with.
Just taking it nice and slow on this one.
yeah.
My health's really low
This is
because I
the-
made mistakes in artifact selection.
Last boss fight before the wall. Okay, he did it. So Risch is going to spare to take the full heal, and we're coming up on the wall. This is the final boss fight. The wall has a lot of health, but it also has a lot of hitboxes, and Crossfire hits a lot of tiles. So when you put all that together, Risch can jump over and just shotgun the wall. Now, the wall spawns a whole bunch of different weapons, which you can destroy, but mostly Risch is just going to be popping over to deal damage to the wall. And we haven't had the best upgrades or artifacts. This is going to take a little bit longer and be a little bit spooky. Okay,
we get to see why I saved Reba.
So
We get to see it today.
Okay. So
this
time's
is why you
coming up
saved
soon.
Reba.
Reva saved it. Reva MVP. So Risch won. Unfortunately, Eden doesn't like him, so he's dead, and that's time.
Yeah, time ends when you
Nice.
die to Seraph there.
So that was time.
What a
Sorry.
run.
Yeah, so the reason for that is it's supposed to encourage you to go either the full pacifist route or the full execution route, which have a little more satisfying endings. This one counted as both a victory and a defeat. So yeah, that was One Step from Eden, neutral still C, seedless normal. A little scared that it had any right to be, but still made our way through. And I think with that, am I good to just go forward with the
Donation
incentive?
Do it. So remember, also switch the thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just want to get confirmation that I'm good to just go. All right, thank you. So yeah, we had a donation incentive to fight the shopkeeper, who's an optional boss fight. Can talk a bit about it after I get to the get back to the shop.
But while Risch is working his way there, Thomas, you made the game. What'd you think of the run? Do you have any comments and tips you want to give to people who might want to try it out now?
Yeah, that was awesome. It was really scary watching him take all those max HP reduction artifacts. And
I had to make it a little interesting.
yeah, and I almost forgot about the revive thing at the end there. So, yeah, super exciting. Really awesome job, Risch.
Yeah.
Sure.
Doing that. Risch, you want to start?
Yeah, so like to give a shout out to my commentators for joining me here today. Erothaur, Thomas, always appreciate you guys being around. I'd like to shout out the Team BN and One Step from Eden Discord communities. Really great places for people who are fans of the Battle Network series, but also of this game. And yeah, and then shoutouts to GDQ for allowing me the honor to run this or to do this run in SGDQ. So thank you very much.
All right. Fix your spells now. So he's gonna remove the 2 or not. Would you use a remove on?
I'm not getting a second removal. I'm not taking the HP.
Okay. So this is the shopkeeper. As soon as you do 100 damage, among other things, she'll start fighting you. And she has a whole bunch of different attacks. Right off, we're starting with this one. And the targeting ridicule closes in on you, and she's going to use that as a visual indicator of when to dodge.
This is probably one of her harder attacks to learn how to dodge.
Yeah, and it's like partly visual, but partly audio on when to dodge it. You just circle straight from the middle. This one's hilarious because if you stand in the front, she just misses you. That's the trick for that one. You killed her so quick, she didn't do any of the cool attacks.
She has a couple
little
other
upset.
attacks that we didn't get to see there. One of them in particular, she puts a bunch of bombs around you. It's like the hardest one for me.
It's
Yeah,
so
I have
good.
such a difficulty dodging that. So I made that look way easier.
You made the whole
than
game
it
look easy.
actually is. It is a very difficult boss fight to dodge. Like all
Yeah,
of her
the
attacks.
shopkeeper is
And
definitely the hardest fight in the game, but it's also very fair. Once you understand how to dodge all the attacks, you can get very consistent at all of them.
Agree.
I think
And
that's
like
the,
any other boss, you can choose to save or execute. So we could just run along.
What
She
was
just
that
questions
for?
why we chose to attack her. And so yeah, that was the incentive. Managed to successfully show that off. So thank you guys for your donations for that. I already gave my shoutouts. I would like to say, you know me, you know I don't like doing stuff like this, but if you do like any Mega Man Battle Network speedruns, or like watching any Mega Man Battle Network content, or One Step from Eden, you can always check out my stream, twitch.tv/Risch. Also, Taraj and Erothaur do stream occasionally as well. They also stream Battle Network and One Step from Eden. That is Erothaur and TerraJ42.
Do you want to, like, next Tuesday, you're doing a thing? We'll call that. and then
Yeah,
we'll switch?
so I wouldn't say it's next Tuesday. I think sometime next week I'll actually be doing some One Step from Eden chat controlled runs where you guys can tell me what spells and artifacts I'm allowed to take. So if you're interested, you can always check that out. But I think that's it, unless you guys have anything else you want to shout out or say.
You made that run way more exciting than I was expecting, Risch. Good job.
Thank you.
I think that was the fastest shopkeeper boss fight I've seen, besides the link cable. Jeez.
If you
Well,
want
thank
me
you very
to,
much, Risch, for that
if it might be more
unbelievable
applicable, do you think I
one-step
should
from Eden run. Just keeping an eye on chat there, I've heard that game is like impossible. You wouldn't have known it from watching the way Risch played it, but that was unbelievable. And we've got some love coming in on the donations for Risch, as well as $500 from TJ09 that says, hey, it's me, your brother. Good luck with the run. Well, luck was definitely on Risch's side there. Immortal to you donates $50, saying thanks for everyone working towards this great cause. Had to donate during One Step from Eden, my favorite game of this year. Good luck on the run. And we'll be back in just a minute. We're going to head to a quick Twitch ad. Yeah, we'll be back in just a sec. And we are back to Summer Games Done Quick 2020 online, powered by Twitch, where we're going fast and raising money for Doctors Without Borders. Still some love coming in on the donations for Risch, a $200 anonymous donation that says, absolutely killing it, Risch. Keep it up. Silver Moon 9000 contributes $25 to Doctors Without Borders, saying One Step from Eden hype. Great game. I've never been able to complete a run. It's a bit fast-paced for me, but I really like it. Good luck. And it is time. We're going to go over to an interview with Spikevegeta and GigaDB. Take it away.
And welcome back, everyone, to Summer Games Done Quick 2020. We are almost halfway through the week. We've had tons of amazing speedruns, and we got another great one coming up with Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, that being run by GigaDB, joining me in the interview today. Giga, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Spike. Looking forward to the run.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'll go ahead and jump right here into the first question. When I saw this game get into the schedule, my good friend and part of the Mario RPG speedrunning community, Ghost Kumo, was popping off at the idea of this run getting shown at the marathon. Can you describe the feeling of the community on the whole the day Paper Jam finally was given its ticket to the GDQ stage?
Sure. I mean, I think everyone was really excited for it because I've been submitting to, I think, at least like 6 or 7 GDQs with this run. And I'm really glad that it finally is getting a spotlight because I think it's a very entertaining watch, personally.
Yeah.
So.
I always love to see, there's been a couple runs I got to interview Karaoke earlier in the marathon. She's been submitting Silhouette Mirage for 7 years now. I think it's really cool to see GDQs throwing, I don't want to say throwing a bone, but just giving opportunities to runs where there's clearly been a lot of hard work and there's a lot of merit as speed games there. So very happy for the Paper Jam community that you guys are getting this shot. For my next question, Mario RPGs, while easy casually, I've always found from a viewer standpoint to be some of the most brutal RPG speed games out there. With its extremely tight routing and boss fights, and seemingly every game in this series having frame-perfect trick after frame-perfect trick. As a runner of multiple games in this series, I've seen you run games, obviously Paper Mario, we've seen you in the past, Thousand Year Door, a couple of Zelda games. As a runner of multiple games in this series, what single part of any of these runs stresses you out the most?
So I would say for the most stressful part, I would actually pick another category for Mario and Luigi Paper Jam called YoBG. Which I actually did a showcase for it on Hotfix last week. So that category has extremely brutal boss fights that can take upwards of like 7 minutes. And if you miss one dodge, you are dead and the run is over, or you have to redo the fight in like a marathon setting. So luckily, my run at Hotfix actually went pretty well. I didn't have any really costly deaths, although I did die a couple times. But so yeah, that category is very brutal, very brutal.
So you guys heard it right here. Again, GDQ, year-round streaming, lots of great content they put up. You can check out that run. What was the name of the category again, just so we can plug it?
Any percent no IBG.
No IBG. What does that stand for?
It's called Instant Battle Glitch, and I want to say that as a little bit of a surprise for the
Okay, I'll let you. Sorry, I'm trying to spoil.
Yeah.
But make sure to get everyone to check out that run after you watch his Any Percent run of Paper Jam later today. To call out the elephant in the room, Paper Jam is for sure a game in this beloved series with perhaps a mixed bag of reviews and opinions from the community. Yet I look at the run and see tons of work has been put into it by so many different runners and just glitch finders across the community. Would you say that that comes from people who look past the game's flaws and love it? Or is it just the fact that this game is so broken it makes for a good speed game?
I honestly think it's a bit of both. Coming from me, I really did enjoy this game a lot casually, despite its flaws. I really do like the battle system a lot. So that has led me to run multiple categories for this game and also continue to glitch hunt. Just because, like, I feel like this game is so broken, and I feel like I'm personally very bad at glitch hunting, but I've found several glitches in it just because it's pretty easy to glitch hunt. So it's really fun to mess around with.
Awesome.
So I think, yeah.
And before I let you go, Giga, there are tons and tons of categories people could get into the Mario RPG series with this for speedrunning. Give me your most beginner-friendly, but also one of the more fun categories to pick up as a new runner.
I honestly think the run I'm going to do today, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, Any Percent, is one of the easier runs to pick up. There are some hard parts to it for sure, but like you can opt out of some harder things, and I think it's generally pretty easy to get things done and just get runs going on the table. So, and I'm sure you might be able to see what I mean when we get into the meat of the run.
You heard it here today, guys. You're gonna have a great speedrun, but also a great tutorial for all of you to break into Mario and Luigi speedrunning. And one final question, because I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this today. Have you played Origami King? Do you think it looks cool as a speedrun at all?
I have played Origami King. I did enjoy it casually. I think it lost some potential, but I did really enjoy it. As a speedrun, I can't really say I've watched too much of it because it's really long. So
yeah, I know it takes a while to get going, but we'll see. I remember days when people said Thousand Year Door was it was 17 hours long, and before you know it, people have broken it in half. And now it's actually a pretty reasonable amount. And, you know, there's all sorts of cool glitches and stuff in it. GigaDB, thank you for joining me today. Definitely looking forward to that Mario and Luigi Paper Jam run coming up later today. We're going to kick y'all back up to the front as Swordsman Kirby coming in for his second run of this marathon with Virtual Boy Wario Land. I hope y'all are ready for two very specific colors.